Okay, people, welcome back to another Fwoosh Quickie. As always, I'm Robo, and I had quite a few questions on the weekly from yesterday. So I thought instead of doing a lot of typing, a lot of replying to people, I would make another video. Plus, there's some new pictures to talk about, so I'll take care of it all in one fell swoop. Yes, he's called Vega Overseas, or he was originally called Vega Overseas. I did not know that. So thank you to everyone who chimed in, set the record straight. It's not a packaging error. M. Bison was originally called Vega, or is still called Vega Overseas. I haven't dove all into the information yet, but yeah, that's good to know. Like I said, I wasn't a big fighting game guy back in the arcade days. It was just what ruled the arcade, so if you hung out in arcades, you probably knew and at least played some fighting games. So I know the premise, I know the characters, I don't know the history. No, I know. But what it comes down to me is cool figure, gotta have, wanna play. As I was setting up for this, GameStop put their Star Wars The Black Series 40th Anniversary R5D4 up for pre-order. I'm not too excited about it. I have the model kit, and I'm sure it's going to be a little bit small, given that the Black Series likes to make their astromechs a little bit small. But the vintage carding and a new figure in the line, I gotta have it. Yeah, I put it on pre-order. It says it will ship on April 15th. There's a lot of stuff happening on April 15th. Yeah, we'll have to wait for that. I think that's smack dab in the middle of Star Wars Celebration. So by the time this ships out, I'll be in Orlando, I guess. Maybe I'll come home to an R5D4 on my doorstep. Very cool. And then the main reason for this quickie is Bandai put up new pictures for the S.H. Figuarts Spider-Man Homecoming figure. Several hours after I posted a video of me wondering why they hadn't put up promotional pictures this close to solicitation. Was there something going on? Was there something fishy? Something funky? I don't know. So Bandai comes along like a stalker ex-girlfriend and says, "Oh, here's your information." But come on, Bandai, I still love you. I wasn't saying you were an evil corporation. I'm just saying I hadn't seen pictures. The new pictures don't tell us a lot that we didn't already know. The backpack, the cell phone, the interchangeable eyes looking all cool. It does delve into the articulation a little bit more though. Now the hips and the crotch kind of look like the setup that we got with the Game of Death Bruce Lee. It's got some funkiness going on, but the range of movement should be cool as hell. We get a little bit closer look at the suit itself. It's got a lot of little bumpies, a lot of little sculpted details. There's something all over this figure to look at. And I can't tell exactly how many hands we're getting with this figure. We've got the thwip, we've got the fist, we've got the web swing, we've got the grip. Seems like a more open grip for the cell phone. Is that a hang 10? I'm not sure what all is happening with this figure. Plus, some web lines, a lot of accessories for a general release. And that's what this is, a general release. It should pop up on all the pre-order sites. Yes, it's not exclusive. Now the suggested retail is $56. I'm thinking it's going to be a little bit cheaper once it pops up, around $50, $49, somewhere in there. And the cryptically given April 3rd in the Facebook post from a couple days ago is when it goes up for solicitation. So Monday overseas, and for the US it'll be late Sunday night into the wee hours of the morning, Monday morning, early. Does that sentence make any sense? But the big question here is S.H. Figuarts or Mafex? This is going to be a hard decision. Mafex has been on the ball lately. There hasn't been a lot of QC issues with any of the figures that I've gotten. Yeah, a little bit of looseness here and there, but no huge QC issues. Not like C-3PO and Superman, which anytime I mention Mafex, those come blurting out my mouth. Because the bad always comes to mind first. But then you start thinking about the good, the Boba Fett's, the Phasmas, the Kylo Rens, and then, I'm so happy with Mafex. But don't forget the bad points, because we still haven't seen a good unmasked head. And really, when it comes down to it, that's what the Mafex has over the S.H. Figuarts, is an unmasked head. And it does look good, but given Mafex's history with unmasked heads, they come out too orangey, they come out kind of undetailed, they come out kind of cartoony. I don't know how much this actually puts it over the S.H. Figuarts. But they are starting the face printing technology with the Suicide Squad Harley Quinn, so it's hard to tell. Now, on all of the side-by-side shots, the S.H. Figuarts is on the blue background, the Mafex is on the white background. Now, when you put them side-by-side, the S.H. Figuarts comes out more dynamic. It comes out more detailed. The Mafex, a little bit like animated series looking. It still looks great, but there's just something like cartoony about it. On top of that, the Figuarts, even though it has more points of articulation, it looks like more cuts, more joints, it looks more solid throughout. You can't see through gaps in the elbows or the hips or any other point. The Mafex, you can kind of see through points. It looks a little bit more jointy, even though there's less joints. Some kind of magic happening there. But when it comes to crouching, Mafex may have it. It may have less joints in the body, but the range of motion may be a little bit better. You can see in the shoulders, it cuts in more, and they don't actually demonstrate it, but his arm may come across further than the S.H. Figuarts. And that's on top of being able to crouch lower and the head looking more forward in that crouch. Now I think the Mafex has alternate heads. It has more wide open, more closed on the eyes, whereas the Figuarts has an eye gimmick where you pull out the eyes. You can put in different ones. It has wide, it has normal, it has squinty, and you can mix and match between the two of those. So I think what it's going to come down to, at least for me, because I'm a complete sucker and money is my mortal enemy, anytime I see it I just want to, get away from me, go. I'm going to end up with both. But since most of my MCU characters on the shelf are S.H. Figuarts, the Figuarts Spider-Man is probably going to end up at my display piece in the main shelf with the other characters. But I gotta have the Mafex because I want one to fiddle with that I can just pick up anytime, put into a pose, and if he happens to win, he happens to win. So I gotta compare. I gotta have them both in my hand. I can't just look. I can't even watch other reviews and think, yeah, maybe. I gotta have it in my hand. I gotta know. Now, skewing away from action figures, I had a couple of questions of what match I'm looking forward to most in Wrestlemania. Because I mentioned Wrestlemania in the weekly yesterday, and that set off some fans. It's hard to pick just one. There's some bad ones, there's some good ones, but for me, even though he's fighting Shane McMahon, I'm such an AJ Styles mark that that's the match I'm looking forward to the most. I don't want to see a lot of Shane punching because... But the phenomenal one is so good that he's going to carry that match and make Shane look good at the same time. My daughter's looking forward to Seth Rollins versus Triple H, which will be awesome to see. I'm hoping Seth finally takes that face turn that he's been needing to take. And then going even further away from that, for some reason I had a couple of questions of, are you bald? Yes, I am. Genetics was not kind because this is what I used to look like. This is what I looked like for 20 years, most of my adult life. So I got used to wearing the hat when genetics took over and made my hairline slowly move back, and then I finally shaved my head, and this is where we end up today. Now, I'm so used to wearing the hat that it's just more comfortable to have it on. Plus, I've got a 40-year-old tan line that just will not go away. Son of a bitch. Ooh, genetics. So yeah, probably not that quick, but there were some toys to talk about, and you guys know me. I'm gonna ramble. I apologize for getting a little personal at the end and skewing away from action figures with wrestling. So if you're here just for the action figures, that's not gonna happen very often. Hell, if the wrestling thing takes over, we may do a separate show for that, because I do like to talk wrestling too, so yeah, we'll see. Like, I'm not busy enough. Don't forget, I'll be at the Dallas Fan Expo tomorrow and a little bit of Sunday. If you see me, stop me, say hi. Hey, I watch you on YouTube. You need to shut the hell up sometimes. So if you like this Fwoosh Quickie, comment, like, subscribe. Why am I pointing over that way? I'll catch you on the Fwoosh.